Good morning. Today we are going to discuss transforming quadratic function in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c into the form of y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. So let us proceed with our illustrative examples. For our example, we have y equals x squared minus 2x plus 5. This one is obviously written in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So what are we going to do is to write it in the form of y equals a multiplied by x minus h and then squared plus k. So the question is, how are we going to transform that quadratic function? We are just going to follow the different steps, and the steps are here. So let us do the steps one by one. So you follow. For step number 1, you are going to group the terms containing x. These are the terms with x, so you are going to group that expression or that term. That's why we will be having y equals quantity x squared minus 2x plus 5. We just group the terms that contains the variable x. That is step number 1. For step number 2, you need to factor out a. In this expression, the value of a is equal to 1. It is equal to 1, obviously. That's why we will be having this same equation because it is unnecessary for us to write the coefficient 1. So we will be having the same equation. For step number 3, make the expression in the parentheses a perfect square trinomial. This is our expression in the parentheses. We are going to make it a perfect square trinomial. How? That is by adding the square of the half of b, just like what we are doing. So you are going to get the half of b and then you are going to square. And whatever added here, you are going to subtract it here. Now, let us see for you to see it. Then we have our b is negative 2. That's why we have negative 2. You get the half and then you are going to square. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. And if you square negative 1, that is 1. So what are you going to do is, yes, you are going to add 1 in this expression. And then whatever added here should be subtracted there in terms of the value of a. Since we have here b over 2 squared, the result is 1. If you are going to multiply it by a, which is also 1, that's why we subtract 1 from 5. Did you get it? Now, let us proceed with step number 4. You are going to express this expression or a perfect square trinomial into square of binomial and you are going to simplify this part. If we do that, we will be having x squared minus 2x plus 1. This is, we have quantity x minus 1 squared. This is the square of binomial of this perfect square trinomial. And then 5 minus 1 is definitely 4. And this is now our final answer. This is already in the form of y equals a quantity x minus h squared plus we have here k. And if you are going to look at our equation, the value of a is, yes, the value of a is 1. We have definitely 1 here, but it is unnecessary for us to write the coefficient 1. What is the value of b? H, I mean. Yes, the value of h is 1. And what is the value of k? Yes, the value of k is 4. Now, this is our answer. Now, aside from following these steps, there is another one way of writing ax squared plus bx plus c into a times the quantity x minus h and then squared plus k. That is by using a or an equation or a formula. You are just going to use the formula for h and k. The equation to get h is negative b over 2a And the equation or the formula to get the value of k is 4a squared minus b squared. As you can see in the formula, we have here the variables a, b, and c. Now, where are you going to get those a, b, and c? Those are the coefficients of our given quadratic equation. And if we get the values, yes, those are the values. Our a is equal to 1, b is equal to -2, and c is equal to 5. Using those values, a, b, and c, let us get the value of h. We have negative. Take note, in our formula, we have a negative. So we have a negative there. And then the value of b is -2. And then the value of a is 1. If we simplify it further, we will be having 2 negatives here will become positive. That's why we have a positive 2 here. And then 2 times 1 obviously is 2. And then if we simplify 2 over 2, the value of h is 1. The value of h is 1, just like the value of h that we have here. So meaning it is correct. Now, to get the value of k, we are going to use this formula. Let us substitute a, b, and c. A again is 1, b, c is 5, and then b is -2, and then a again is 1. If we simplify, it will become 4 times 1 times 5, that is 20. And then we have minus, we just copy it. Then we have -2 squared, that is equivalent to 4. And then we have 4 times 1, that is also equal to 4. And then if we simplify, 20 minus 4 is 16, and then over 4. And then if we divide, the value of k is 4, just like the value of k here. So meaning it is correct. The question is, what are you going to do after getting the value of h and k? Remember, we are trying to write it in the form of y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. So after getting the value of h and k, you are just going to substitute the value of a, h, and k in our equation. And if we do that, it will become, yes, our a is 1 here. Again, it is unnecessary for us to write the coefficient 1. So it will become x minus, you just copy x, you just copy minus, and then you just substitute the value of h, which is 1, and then copy the exponent squared, and then the value of k, you copy, that is positive 4. And obviously, it is the same as our example or our answer earlier. So again, there are two ways for you to transform our quadratic function. It's either you follow these steps or you use the formula for h and k, then substitute in our form. Did you get it? Now don't worry, let us have one more example. For our next example, we have y equals -2x squared plus 4x minus 12. Again, it is in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We are going to write it in the form of y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. And to do that, the first thing that we can do is to follow the steps here. Let us follow the steps one by one. Again, you are going to group the terms that contains the variable x. That's why you are going to group -2x squared and positive 4x. Next, you need to factor out a. In our example here, what is the value of a? Yes, a is equal to -2. That is why we are going to factor out -2. Meaning to say, we are going to write -2 outside the parentheses. That is what we mean by factoring out the coefficient or the value of a. Now, if we factor out -2 here, what will happen? If you are going to divide -2x squared to -2, the answer is x squared. That's why you have x squared there. And if you are going to divide 4x by -2, then we will be having -2x. That's why we have -2x there. To check if it is correct, what are you going to do? You can use distributive property. Then we can have -2 times x squared. It is -2x squared. In the same manner, if you have -2 times -2x, that is equivalent to positive 4x, meaning to say our answer is correct. Now, we are done with number 2. Let us proceed with step number 3. We are going to make the expression in the parentheses a perfect square trinomial by adding the square of the half of b. And again, our b is, yes, our b again is negative 2. You are going to get the half and then you are going to square. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1 and negative 1 squared is 1. That's why we are going to add 1 here. That's why we will be having, you copy negative 2, then you have x squared, you have 2x, and then you added 1 here. Can you still follow? Yes, then we have negative 12 plus 2. There, where did we get plus 2 here? Take note, you need to subtract the value of a multiplied by the half of the square of b. So from negative 12, you are going to subtract what is our negative b over 2 squared. Our answer is 1. Here is our 1. What are you going to do is, you are going to multiply it by the value of a. And our value of a is, yes, the value of a is negative 2. So we have negative 2 multiplied by the value of the half of the square of b. So if you have negative 12, you are going to subtract the value of this, and the value is, yes, the value is negative 2. That's why we have here plus 2. Can you follow? Let me explain it again. This is your a. This is the value of b over 2 squared. The value of this is negative 2. So you have negative 12 minus negative 2. That's why we have here negative 12 plus 2. Now we are ready to do step number 4. For step number 4, we are going to express this perfect square trinomial as square of binomial, and we need to simplify this part. If we do that, then we have negative 2. You just copy negative 2, and this perfect square trinomial will be expressed as quantity x minus 1 squared. That is the square of binomial, and then negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10. And this is now our final answer. Wherein the value of a is, yes, the value of a is negative 2. The value of h is, yes, the value of h is 1. And the value of k, yes, the value of k is negative 10. Again, this is our final answer. Now, what if we use the formula? Again, this is the formula for h and this is the formula for k. The first thing that we have to do is to find the value of a, b, and c of this expression. And the value of a is negative 2, b is 4, and c is negative 12. Then we are just going to substitute. Again, in the formula, you have negative. That's why you have a negative there. And then the value of b is 4, and then constant 2. The value of a is negative 2. Can you follow? Yes, let us simplify further. So this expression will become negative 4, and 2 times negative 2 is also equal to negative 4. So if we simplify that again, the value of h is 1, just like 1 that we have it here. Now, let us get the value of k. Substitute the values. A is negative 2, our c is negative 12, and our b is 4, and our a again is negative 2. If we simplify, 4 times negative 2 times negative 12, it is, yes, 4 times negative 2 times negative 12 is 96. And then you copy minus here. And then 4 squared is 16. We just simplify it. And then also the denominator, find 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And if we simplify further, 96 minus 16 is 80, and then you just copy negative 8. And then 80 divided by negative 8 will give us, yes, it will give us negative 10. Just like the value of k that we have here, which is negative 10. Again, after getting the values of h and k, we are going to substitute it in this form. Substitute a, h, and k. Our h is negative 2, our h is 1, and our k is negative 10. That's why we will be having a is negative 2, h is 1, and k is negative 10. As you can see here, as we substitute, it is the same as our answer earlier. I hope you get it now. So let us proceed. To continue, please take note of the following. If the resulting function becomes y equals 2 times the quantity x plus 1 squared minus 1, if we get the values of a, h, and k, yes, the value of a is 2. How about the value of h? The value of h here is negative 1. Take note, it is y, a equals the quantity x minus h squared plus k. Just to prove that it is really negative 1, you copy x, you copy h, you copy negative, you substitute the value of h, which is negative 1. That's why it will give us x plus 1 squared, just like what we have here. So again, if you have x plus 1 squared, definitely the value of h is negative. And then the value of k is? Yes, the value of k is negative 1. Given y equals negative, quantity x plus 6 squared plus 8, what is our value of a? Very good, that is negative 1. How about the value of h? Very good, that is negative 6. And the value of k? Obviously is positive 8. In the same manner, if the value of h, for example, is negative 4, and the value of k, for example, is 7, having, for example, the value of a is 1, we are going to write it in the form of y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. If we substitute the value of h and k, it will become, okay, substitute here. It will become a is 1, no need to write 1, and then copy x, copy negative, and then substitute the value of h, which is negative 4. So you have negative 4, and then the value of k is 7. Then if we simplify further, what will happen? It will become x plus 4 squared plus 7. What I'm trying to say here is, if the value of h is negative, in our form, it will become x plus and then squared. And suppose we have a is negative 3, and b is negative 2, and k is negative 5. How are you going to write our form? It will become, okay, very good, y equals negative 3 times the quantity x plus 2 squared and then minus 5. Very good. The first thing that I show you is to write ax squared plus bx plus c into this form. Now, what if the other way around or vice versa? The given is this form. You are going to write it in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Example, this is our previous example. This is the given, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the resulting function, y equals negative 2, quantity x minus 1 squared, and then minus 10. What if our given is this one? Y equals negative 2, quantity x minus 1 squared minus 10. Ito naman yung hinahanap natin. What are you going to do? Let us follow several steps. Number 1, you need to expand the square of the binomial. This is the square of binomial. You are just going to expand it. So you're just going to copy negative 2, x minus 1 squared. How are you going to simplify? The rule is, yes, you need to square the first term. Since you have minus here, so you have minus 2 times the first term and the last term. 1 times x is x times 2 is 2x, and then 1 squared, square the last term, that is 1. So if we expand again, x minus 1 squared, the result will be x squared minus 2x plus 1, and then you just copy minus 10. That is step number 1. For step number 2, you multiply. This is a perfect square trinomial. You are going to multiply it by the value of a using what property? Yes, using distributive property. So you have, what will happen here? We have negative 2 times x, that's negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times negative 2x, that is positive 4x. Negative 2 times 1, that is negative 2. And then you just copy negative 10. And then what do you think you're going to do next? Yes, you just need to simplify. You are going to simplify the two constant here. So you copy negative 2x squared plus 4x, and then negative 2 minus 10 obviously is negative 12. So from this form, it became this form. Are we correct? Yes, it is the same as this one. Y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 12. Yes, that is correct. This one is definitely easier than this one. But let us have one more example. Suppose we have, this is our first example earlier. Suppose this is our given. Y equals x minus 1 squared plus 4. We are going to find y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So first step again is to expand the square of binomial. Again, to expand the square of binomial, the result will be x squared minus 2x plus 1, and then you just copy plus 4. Next step is multiply PST by A. Obviously, the value of A is 1. So if we do that, we will be having the same. So no need to do that. And then you need to simplify. You are just going to simplify the whole expression here. Specifically, we are going to combine the two constant. So it will become y equals x squared minus 2x, and then 1 plus 4 is 5. The resulting equation is this one. And again, it is the same as our original given function. Did you get it? Okay, very good. So again, in transforming quadratic function, if it is ax squared plus bx plus c, you are going to transform into y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. You just need to follow these steps. And if it is vice versa, from y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k, you are going to write it in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This time around, you are going to follow those steps. That is competency number 12. Again, thank you for watching.